Okay, so now we are going to go into data manipulation. And this is really where all the exciting stuff starts because, it's a lot more than just a simple calculator. So I'm going to teach you a thing or two about arrays, and that is where you store a lot more information in a variable than just a single number. So actually here, when we've loaded this file, we've already seen an example of an array. So here A and both answer as well are arrays, and I'm going to show you what this notation means. So basically, if I want to create an array, which is basically a list of a lot of numbers, I can type it in like any other variable. And for me, I like to use the convention of using capital letters for a matrix. So I make an array A equals to, how I start this is with a square bracket, and I fill it with all sorts of numbers. So these spaces don't actually matter. I can leave a big one and then do that. And then I type enter, and this is an array of 9 numbers. So you see here, A comes out as the numbers 1, 2, 4, and so on and so forth. So it separates them using commas. So if I wanted to make an array with commas, I can as well. 2, 3, but I don't have to. I can just use space instead. So what you see here with the one that we read in, the answer, it has this semicolon inside here. And what that actually means is that is the start of a new row. So I can make a matrix like that. I do C equals to square bracket. Let's say my first row is 1, 2, 3. I want my second row to then be 4, 5, 6. And I want a third row that is 7, 8, and 9. And I've separated those with semicolons. And so I close this off, and I get a 3 by 3 array. Note that if I tried to make something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then 6, 7, it isn't happy because the dimensions of the matrix are not consistent. So it says the dimensions of the matrix being concatenated are not consistent. So that's an interesting thing where we can actually concatenate matrices. So let's say I have a E that's equal to 1, 2, 3. And then a F that is equal to 4, 5, 6. I want to make a G that is equal to E, and then a separate row below it that has F. And my G, where is my G? Oh, I'm sorry. The notation is G equals to bracket E with that semicolon F. I want to say it because I basically want to say that it is part of a single matrix. MG becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, just a note of the reason why this looked a little weird. It's because this semicolon, when used outside of this context, is a way of executing a function, executing an instruction without it having printed out on the screen. So, normally I go 2 times 3 and that gives me 6, but if I don't want this answer thing to pop up, I do, I put a semicolon at the end. And so it's just going to do that without printing the answer. But note that it went ahead and changed the answer variable instead. So it's just not showing you the result that it's creating. I can, do the same thing with the variable, the semicolon at the end, and it will create that variable, but it just won't print it again for me. So anyway, back to the topic of arrays. I've shown you ways to make different kinds of arrays. So you can make this kind of array, and you can also make arrays that run from one number to another number by using the colon. So let's say I want to make H equals to, I want every number between 1 and 5. So all I need to do is 1, and this I like to call it until 5, and that's going to populate an array for me that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I want to move in increments of 0.5, all I need to do is H equals to 1 colon 0.5 colon until 5. And this is what it gives me instead. I can move in decrements as well. So let's say H, I wanted to go from 5 minus 0.25 to 1. So basically going backwards, and that gives me 5. All the numbers going backwards from 5. Great. So that's an easy way to populate an array full of incremental numbers or decremental numbers.